Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, as you can probably already tell, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different for you today. For those of you that don't know, I am an all-star cheerleader, and if you don't know what that is, you can either YouTube it, or if you've ever flipped on ESPN and you've seen the girls running across the blue mat, that's what I do. We don't cheer for a team. It's not like football cheerleading or anything like that. We basically just compete. And since today is our first performance of the year, I thought I would go ahead and film a quick tutorial for you on how to do a smoky eye cheerleading makeup. I will go ahead and flash some pictures of the look I'm going to achieve. So if your team or your coaches want you to achieve this kind of look, this should help you get it. So if you want to know how to do this makeup, just keep on watching.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get started by priming my face, and I am using the Stila One Step Correct, and I'm just pumping a little bit of this onto clean hands and then rubbing it in all over my face. I do like to give it a little bit to kind of set on my skin, because otherwise it's just like you're mixing it with your foundation. Now, as you can see here, I'm going to be mixing two foundations, the Estee Lauder Double Wear and the L'Oreal Pro Matte. And the reason why I'm doing this is actually because I'm trying to color match right now. So I just pump a little bit on the back of my hand, and here's where I realize. So now we're really going to give our primer time to set in, because I'm going to go ahead and start with my eyes. And I'm actually going to pump a little bit of the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, and I'm using this as a primer for my eyeshadow. The first color I'm going to start off with is just this light neutral. It's got a little bit of a shimmer in it, and I'm just using a fluffy brush to blend that all over my lid. And this is just going to be my transition shade and my base. So I'm going to continue building out the base of my shadows by adding a little bit more warmth into the outer corners of my eye. And I'm going to slightly highlight my brow bone by just taking this vanilla shade and putting it right underneath my eyebrows. Now, taking this pointed crease brush, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my black. And as you can see, I tapped off the excess powder. You don't have to do this step, because since we didn't start with our foundation, if you do get fallout, you can always just wipe it off with a makeup wipe later, but it's kind of a force of habit for me. So as you can see, I'm just going to go ahead and make that backward C shape on my eye in the outer corners with the black shadow, and I'm just kind of layering on shadow. Once you're happy with the amount of black shadow you have, you can go ahead and take a fluffy brush and just blend everything out. Now, this is going to take away a little bit of the density of the color, but you really want to make sure that you do this step and blend out, because otherwise you're going to have harsh lines and it's just not going to look smooth and clean. Now, I noticed I did lose a little bit of the blackness of my shadow, so as you can see here, I'm just going in again and adding a little bit more color, and then I will just buff it out again. Now, for the whole reason why we didn't start with our foundation, I'm going to go ahead and take a makeup wipe and just clean out any fallout that I have, and I'm just going to sharpen up the line of my shadow. I'm just going to make that a little bit cleaner and sharper in the corners. One of my favorite tricks is using some eye drops to moisten my shadow brushes. And I just put a little bit either directly on or on a palette, and then I dip it in the color that I want to use and apply it to my lid. This gives the shadow kind of a foiled effect. And you can actually use MAC Fix Plus if you want to use that as well, if you have it, but I didn't have any on hand, and this is a perfect dupe. My team's colors are silver, black, and royal blue. So one of the accent colors that I'm going to be using is this beautiful silver color. And it's got kind of a cool tone to it, so it's got a little bit of a blue undertone. So I'm going to add this on the inner corner of my eyes and just kind of blend it in with the other slightly warmer colors that I used, as well as adding just a little bit more black. Now, since you did get your shadow wet, you do want to give it a minute or two to dry out before you blend everything out, because otherwise you're just going to have a really messy brush and you're probably going to smear your colors around it. It's just not going to be cute. I'm also going to add a little bit more of that silver color just because I really wanted it to be dramatic. So I'm just going to take a flat shader brush and just pack on that silver color. Now to move on to your winged liner. I like doing this because I pretty much always wear false lashes on competition days. So I like to add this just because it adds a nice base. And I apologize, I did not do a very good job filming this, so I'm only going to show one eye. Now to add a little bit of color underneath my lower lashes, I'm just going to take the warm brown shade that I used and just use a pencil brush and kind of buff it underneath my lower lash line. Later in the video you'll see I also added some black in because it just looked a little too warm for me. Moving on to foundation, I'm just going to dab my foundation on my face and then buff it out using my Sigma F80 flat top kabuki brush and just really make sure that you're blending it out on your hairline. Now I'm going to use the Naked Weightless Concealer and I'm going to put that underneath my eyes, my chin to highlight, my nose to highlight, and on my forehead as well. Now taking a smaller buffing brush, I'm just going to blend all of that out. Now to set my under eye concealer, I'm just going to take this NYX HD powder in the shade Banana, and I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just press it underneath my eye. Now I usually add a little bit more powder that I'm actually going to end up keeping on there because I do what's called baking my concealer, and this just ensures that your concealer is going to last all day. And since I'm going to be running around and sweating, I want to make sure that this is not going to move. Moving on to bronzer, I am just going to take this big fluffy kabuki brush by e.l.f. and I'm going to take a NYX matte bronzer and just work this into my normal contour lines. I'm not super focused on having a chiseled contour, but I do like to stay within those lines. I'm also going to dry it down my neck a little bit just to make me look a little more tan than I actually am. Now for blush, apparently it was a NYX kind of day, so I'm just going to take this very bright pink blush and blend it in on the apples of my cheeks. And our coach wanted a really prominent blush, so I didn't blend it out as much as I normally did because I wanted to make sure that you could tell that I was wearing pink blush. I am going to take a dual fiber brush and just blend in my blush with my bronzer just to make sure I don't have any heavy lines. And finally, one of the most important parts of this look is the bright red lips. So I'm going to start with this Sonia Kashuk lip liner in a just bright red color. I'm going to make an X at my Cupid's bow, and then I am going to line the outer corners of my lip and just kind of play connect the dots. Then taking this matte lip cream by Ulta, it is a bright red color, I am just going to fill in my lips. Now our coach also wanted us to have a little bit darker shade, so I'm also going to take the darker shade of red Ulta matte lip cream and just kind of lightly put that on my lips, and then I'm just going to blend it out with my finger. make sure you don't end up with lipstick all over your teeth, I'm just going to take that same makeup wipe remover, put it around my finger, and then just stick it in my mouth. It's kind of gross, but lipstick on your teeth is even worse. Now I'm moving on to applying my false lashes. Sorry again, I didn't get a great camera angle on this. I'll have to do a better angle in one of my next videos.
All right, well that does it for this tutorial. I hope it helped. I hope you like it. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you did and comment down below, or if you want me to tweak this at all for your cheerleading makeup, I can definitely do that. But yeah, I hope this helped and good luck at your competitions.